My mind state feel like the crime in the summertime. Higher than average, lot of cabbage. Thank God I never abide by the established guidelines that keep niggas inside of fabrics. Commissioned by the state, I skate by the masters like Yoo-hoo with a new riding passenger. Shout out Oak Cliff, I'm about to fly to Dallas. Decade from now, I might just buy the Mavericks. What up, Mark Cuban? I am only part human, half man, half amazing.
All right, so I'm not a huge foam roller guy. I think people overutilize them a little bit and kind of just like, oh, this is my stretching or this is my mobility. I'm just gonna lay on this foam roller, but I think it's good for some things. So I have some tight glutes, especially in the hip that I had surgery on. So when I go into this kind of figure 4 position, I get a good stretch already, but then when I add the foam roller to it, I can really get in deep. So been doing these on both sides. And then I need to work on my thoracic mobility. So my thoracic extension. Thoracic, right, is just your upper back. So I get a little bit, so for years I've had what a lot of people would call like an anterior pelvic tilt. So kind of my butt sticks out, kind of a big curve in my lower back, right, big arch, which usually what comes along with that is going to be the opposite, so like kind of like a rounded upper back. So I'm working on that right now. And the way we're doing that is just kind of getting to that thoracic junction, crossing my arms, and then just trying to extend my thoracic spine through each segment. So the next thing I've been doing for my thoracic mobility is something that I stole from my CrossFit days, and that's something we called squat therapy. So basically I'm getting as close to the wall as I can, and I'm trying to keep my hands and my knees off the wall. So basically when I squat down, sometimes I will kind of round over, but you can't do that if you're in front of the wall because your hands will touch the wall. So I just want to show you guys what I mean by that anterior pelvic tilt. So like if I just stand here, you can kind of see how my pelvis kind of tips forward, right? Like this. We want it to be more in this like neutral spine. So if you look at my waistband, you can kind of see when I have this natural tendency to just kind of stand like this, when in reality we want it to be kind of neutral, right? And so over time, because I've done that, I think my lower back muscles, my erector spinae, have just really tightened up, okay? And they're kind of locked up in this position, and I think it's years of compensating for the bad hips. So I also think I'm gonna try to get a little bit less fat here in the next several months. So I think some of the weight that I've been carrying on my stomach, I think when I weigh more, it kind of tilts me forward a little bit. So it's just a theory I have that if I can lean out a little bit, that should help with that. But when I go down, again, I'm really focusing on keeping this spine neutral, and I'm not letting my butt kind of stick out. All right, so I'm officially 12 weeks post-op, and I'm allowed to start doing a lot more stuff. So I can finally start loading back squats or just squats a little bit. I can't go crazy heavy yet, so I actually started a squat program that I've done to rehab injuries in the past, and this is one that you could steal. We've had a lot of our athletes do it when they have to kind of start over on certain movements, and basically all we do is we start out with an empty bar. Okay, so in our case it's a 20 kilo bar, and we will do 3 sets of 20 reps, okay, on Monday. Then on Wednesday, we're gonna add 5 kilos to that, or you could add like 10 pounds. So we'll go 25 kilos, same thing, 3 sets of 20. And then we're gonna keep adding 5 kilos every session, which is 3 times per week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So Friday would be 30 kilos. Okay, and then we just keep adding 5 kilos every time we squat. We'll probably stick with like the 3 sets of 20 for maybe 3 to 4 weeks. It just kind of depends when it starts getting really tough. We don't want it to be crazy tough. Then what we do is we switch to 4 sets of 15. So you keep the same volume, right? So 3 by 20 is 60 total reps. 4 by 15 is gonna be 60 total reps. And then once that gets too challenging, we'll actually switch to either 5 by 10 or 6 by 10. So 6 sets of 10. Again, keeping the same amount of volume, but continue to add weight. And then by that point, you should be pretty back to a pretty decent load. And then it's time to just probably start getting back on a program. But it's a really good way to build up your capacity, right? Like sets of 20 are really tough, and get a lot of blood flow in that area. For me, it's my hip, right? Without going too heavy. Okay, so you're still getting a good stimulus and a good workout in, but you're building it up gradually. So so now I can finally start loading pulls a little bit too, but Jake doesn't want me going all the way from the floor. So what we did was we started out at like a 12-inch block height, and every week we've gone down about 3 inches. So now we're on a 6-inch block height. Next week we'll go 3 inches, and then we'll finally get to the floor in a couple weeks. But that way we're not stressing that hip joint too much right away. So it's been pretty good. Not going crazy heavy either, but just kind of shows you the ways that you can modify exercises to kind of build into them so you're not going, you know, from 0 to 100. So I've actually been doing back extensions on the GHD maybe since like 4 weeks post-op, but I was just using like body weight, maybe an empty barbell. Now I can finally do some weight on here. So this is one of my favorite exercises for me. I think it's gonna really help with my back too. It lengthens my hamstrings. Okay, I'm getting a big stretch on my hamstrings at the bottom. This is how I do it. I put a barbell on my back. One thing it does, it changes the moment arm. So a lot of people like to hold weight on their chest. The moment arm there is a little bit closer, right? So it's just a little bit easier. And then for me to make it challenging on myself, I'd have to hold a lot of plates, and it just gets logistically challenging. So for me, the best way to do it is to get a barbell like I would a back squat, load it up with some weight. Now I don't have very much weight on here, just 10s on each side, so it's like 65 pounds. But yeah, the last thing we got today is gonna be some push press. So you've seen in one of the last episodes we did, I've been doing a lot of strict press. That was because we didn't really want to use my legs at all. Now I can start using my legs. We can do a push press. So just basically building back to the ability to do a jerk soon. Hopefully I can do that here in a few weeks. But yeah, so we're gonna use our legs, actually add a little bit of weight and see how it goes. All right, so I got a couple more weeks and then I'm able to potentially do some snatch, clean jerk, probably some light plyometric stuff like that, and probably start incorporating some more of the full lifts and more accessory movements. So till then, just gonna keep getting stronger. I can tell my mobility is getting better each week. That's something that it's really starting to pick up fast. Like, you know, at first you're kind of like, man, is this ever gonna come back? But the last couple weeks, it's like, okay, I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that just kind of shows you that that's what you got to keep doing sometimes. Like, everybody thinks that, you know, I'm not perfect in this scenario. My body doesn't feel perfect. My mind isn't perfect. Whatever your situation is, that it's not perfect, and that doesn't mean that you can't do something, right? So keep doing something. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks, and hopefully I can do some more stuff.
My mind state feel like the crime in the summertime. Higher than average, lot of cabbage.